Most of the popular Roblox games today suck, in my opinion. The front page is full of slop and brain rot. Today I'm revisiting some old Roblox games you probably have forgotten about and decide, do they hold up and are they any better than modern games? And who knows, maybe you'll find something to play after watching this video. Alright, so first off we got a very hungry Pikachu, created in 2013, which I remember being all the time on the front page and on ads back in the day. And also has some pretty viewed videos on YouTube. The game's concept is pretty simple. You try to avoid getting eaten by a giant Pikachu while trying to kill it with the different weapons available in the shop. Also, for some reason, flying baby Pikachus spawn from the sky and Pikachu turns into a cyborg. Yo, what? The game becomes pretty repetitive at one point, but that may be because it's not the latest version or the original game at all. Now, the situation with this game is pretty interesting, as the footage in the background is not the original A Very Hungry Pikachu. You see, back in 2020, Roblox became the subject of a lot of copyright strikes from different companies, such as Viacom, that would annihilate any game that mentioned SpongeBob. Or Nintendo, who also happened to be one of the joint owners of Pokemon. And I think you can connect the dots. A Very Hungry Pikachu was nuked by Nintendo and it doesn't exist anymore, in a pretty similar fate to Pokemon Break Bones. The creator tried rebranding it into A Very Hungry Alien, but let's just say it didn't have the same success. Anyway, the game I'm playing in the background is actually a recreation supposed to mimic the 2016 version of the game. And oh man, it gets pretty repetitive. I ended up playing the game for about 15 minutes, and each round is pretty much the same as the last, since there's only one map. But that may be specific to this version, I don't know. Anyway, you should check it out, it's pretty active, having around 50 concurrent players at all times. Also, why is Loader is catching strays? Alright, so now, does this game hold up? If it wasn't for the nostalgia factor, it probably wouldn't hold up that good. It's a pretty basic game, but all of the randomness and stuff like that makes it somewhat unique. I'll give it like a 6 out of 10. Also, props to the people remaking the game, go check it out. The second game of today's video is Flood Escape. You definitely have heard of it, or at least of its successor, Flood Escape 2. Flood Escape is an OB puzzle type of game created by Crazy Blocks in 2010, where you have to clear multiple rooms by touching all of the buttons in them. Clearing one room will get you to the next, until you reach the code chamber, where you have to crack a code by pressing buttons. When you manage to do that, you've won. There are 3 difficulties: easy, medium and hard. And let me tell you that since this game has kind of weird physics due to Roblox updates, somewhat breaking the animations, you keep getting stuck on the sides of blocks, and that makes all the levels 10 times more difficult, even the easy ones. Anyway, the gameplay is pretty fun, although it can be buggy sometimes, and this game has a lot of other bugs, such as the UI being a bit broken, which is understandable since the developer has moved to working on the sequel, Flood Escape 2, which is way more polished and the gameplay is much more smooth, with a ton of more features and maps, overall being a much better game. Alright, now, does this game hold up? Mostly. I had a lot of fun going back and playing it again, and it still has a somewhat active fanbase, always having around 100 concurrent players, which is not that far off from the player count of the sequel. I'll give it around a 7 out of 10 since it's still pretty much the same as it was, but again, it's a pretty simple game for today's standards. Also, by the way, apparently it has lore. Watch this video if you want to find out more. The third game on today's video is Whatever Floats Your Boat, created by Quenti. Whatever Floats Your Boat is a PvP survival game where you have to build your boat with different materials in the short amount of time you have. After that time runs out, the whole map gets flooded and you fight with other people and their boats. When building your boat, you gotta be careful for it not to be too heavy or else it will sink. This game has some really fun physics. Whatever Floats Your Boat used to be peak. I would play it for hours upon hours, but it's completely dead now, struggling to pull upwards of 10 concurrent players. I tried playing it on a public server, but there was only one person, and that ended up being a hacker, who remained on the game for the next 2 days. But still, a few days later I managed to find an active server and had quite a lot of fun battling with a player. Now, does this game hold up? Yeah, in terms of gameplay, it definitely does. It would be the most fun gameplay out of all of the games we talked about today, but sadly it's the least played. I would give it around an 8 out of 10 due to the presence of hackers and lack of updates, but still a pretty solid game. Now, are these games better than the current modern day slop? Not all of them, I think frankly that only the least popular one has the quality to maybe be a front page game, but they're all still really fun and I recommend you check them out. These types of games have this uniqueness and charm from the hours of work and genuine passion put into them that I feel is prevalent less and less on Roblox, or again, at least on the popular games, since there's a lot of gems out there. Comment down below if you want me to play any other game, and I'll see you in the next video.